Energy, the government's power bill is expected to pass tomorrow, but Anthony Albanese is under fire for calling Parliament in the first place. It's going to cost $1 million, small bickies in the scheme of government, but, you know, is this all a power play, if you'll excuse that pun, because is it necessary? That's what I've got to ask.
Well, look, I just feel like this whole thing feels really kind of banana republic, Corey. I mean, frankly, you know, we don't even know what the legislation looks like. They're still cutting deals up until the very last minute for this symbolic idea of, you know, having Parliament come back, everybody back to Parliament for another day, another night, a couple of more nights there. You know, I mean, I guess they'll be happy down at the bar at the Realm, but that's about the only people who are going to be happy about this whole thing here. Look, we know what's going on here. This is a real sort of war on energy operators. It's a war on energy producers. It's basically the long-term goal here really seems to be to drive out gas producers and coal producers out of the economy. That's really what's going on. It's a long-term play, and it's going to make life much more difficult and more expensive for Australians. I don't care what baubles they dangle there in front of, you know, people say, oh, well, pensioners will get this and, you know, we'll help electrify your home, that. You know, just look at the way England has gone with all of this, and they're doing the exact same thing. Now, I simply don't know why they do this when they refuse to countenance nuclear, but, you know, it seems like Australian broad middle-class prosperity is really in the firing line, as are Australian corporations, energy producers, and I suspect a lot of woke corporates that backed in, explicitly or implicitly, Labor in the last election are going to get their comeuppance in the next year.
Yeah, they're going to be very concerned. And if you think there's going to be a serious debate tomorrow about this energy bill, you've got another thing coming. The very first item on the agenda in the Senate is a time management motion. That's known as the guillotine. So they're going to cut off the ability to have a debate just to get a quick win and some goodies out to the people before Christmas. Before I let you go, James, I thought we could do a bit of a scorecard at the end of the Labor government's first calendar year. How do you mark them? They've had a pretty easy run, I reckon, but what's your assessment?
Look, I want to sort of divide it into foreign and domestic policy. On foreign policy, I've got to say they've really outperformed and done better than I thought they would. I'd have to give them, you know, at least a B+, even possibly an A- on maintenance of the American alliance, on the talk around China. They haven't changed any of the settings really around that. You know, on the Quad, on AUKUS, there seems to be a real recognition about the defense situation that we're in. So good on them for that. And you really got to give them a lot of credit. But on the domestic stuff, my God, I mean, you know, it's not just energy, it's pushing the voice, it's doing all of this stuff, which is really, you know, Scott Morrison said he was a bulldozer or a steamroller, whatever he said. No, that's these guys. They have come in and systematically been just remaking absolutely everything, and I don't think a lot of it is going to wind up being to our benefit as much as it's going to be to, you know, union mates and those sorts of folks. So, you know, I'd give them a strong B+ to A- on foreign, but on the other stuff, I'd say B-.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty fair assessment, James Morrow. Your insights into government and how they work and how they operate is very valuable. That's why we love having you on. So Merry Christmas to you if I don't see you before, and thanks for joining me on Credlin tonight.
Merry Christmas to you, Corey.